Yes.
Hey, Jason, this is Paul, Outsider Tackle Box radio show and podcast. We have Tommy here with us.
Hey, what's going on, Jason? How you doing, bud?
Going good today. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for coming on the show. We were doing your intro. We're glad to have you as part of the Outsider Tackle Box team as a sponsored rep. We know that you've been with us for quite some time. The idea behind our podcast and radio show is to spread happiness to the world through the joys of fishing. And you've been quite active on YouTube for us.
Yep.
And you've been a subscriber with a B, because I often drop the B and add an S.
He makes up his own words, Jason. He's ridiculous.
I do that a lot. But, I try. But, thank you for... we continue to get referrals from your YouTube show, so I can't thank you enough for doing your unboxings. Is that a word? Unboxings?
Unboxing.
Can you add an S to that?
Yeah.
Unboxing.
Yeah. We'll just listen here, Shakespeare. We're okay.
It works.
You can just add an S.
I knew what it meant when I said unboxings. I was trying to make it plural.
As long as you know what it meant, that's all that
If you
matters.
add an S to words, it's plural, right?
Plural?
I'm pretty sure that you can do that. So it does make sense. But yes, Jason has a YouTube, and it's Moochie Maccabee. And is that your YouTube channel? Tell everybody how to watch your unboxings.
It's Jason Moccabee at on YouTube.
Okay.
I also have a Facebook page where I list all. If you want to go on Facebook, it's Moochie Fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it's Moochie Fishing YouTube, and same name for Facebook page. So you can go to either one. I post videos on both, and they've been few and far between over the past few months because I've had life and foster kids come into my life and
it happens.
taken care of. But I'm getting back on track and posting more videos. So.
We wouldn't even known that, but we still appreciate you.
Yeah.
We continue to get people. That's the thing, on demand. So it's on-demand viewing, and so even though you may have done a video, a month ago, people are still watching your videos, and they use your code to come and buy a box. And so, I guess as long as you do one or two, it's whatever you're doing is working, and so. We understand life happens, and thank you for what you do for the foster kids too. That we didn't know that about you.
I didn't know that, and I would like to personally thank you for that too. That's amazing. So
let's talk about the fish photo, and it looks like you were fishing for.
It looks like gar.
Something else, and you picked up that fish. So if you can tell us. What bait you were using, where you caught the fish, and if you know the weight on that thing. Let's hear your fish story.
I can't tell you the weight, but started out as a day fishing, and my uncle had some private land alongside of Deer Creek, and there's a real deep hole that comes off of, and it's about 20 feet deep, and it was probably one of the deepest places I've ever fished in that particular creek, and I love that place. Always caught catfish and bass, no problem. If you went there, you guaranteed to catch fish. This particular day, we was fishing with minnows, and all I kept catching was bluegill. And I was hoping to get the bass or some crappie. And I was like, why not use some cut bait? Because I keep seeing these gars swim around. And I said, but if nothing else, we'll, catch some catfish here because I know they're here. It's getting dark. Put a piece of cut bait on, and a few minutes later, on one of my lighter weight poles that wasn't exactly meant for catfishing, line just started dragging real, and I realized quickly it wasn't a catfish. Yeah. Just the way it was fighting, you could tell it wasn't a catfish, and it kept stopping and would just shake, and I start reeling in, and it took me probably 25 minutes to get that fish in.
Oh, wow.
Because Weldon wasn't made for that.
Light tackle,
and then once we got it to the bank, it was about 5 feet from the water to where I was standing, so then we had to figure out how to get it up the bank.
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting to catch gar. I had nothing to get the hook out or nothing that day, so it was fun because I won't leave the hook in it if I can get it out. So I didn't want it to do any long-term damage or make it rust out if I could help it.
Yeah.
So it was just a fun experience all around trying to, and it was the first and only gar I've ever caught, and it's my favorite fish I've ever caught.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like a ton of fun. It's like a big giant swordfish. You know, it just looks
it's
like it came from another era, right? And I'm sure it did. It's got to be a.
Those things are.
So how educated I am, right? It's probably like it probably has a background to it, and I know nothing about it.
The garfish is it's a fun fish to catch. We'll just put it that way. The garfish is a good. It's a fun fish to catch. It'll do some damage to you if it gets a hold of you.
It looks like it.
I mean, to your fingers, like it'll. But I mean, that's awesome. I personally wish I could have caught. I could go out and catch gar whenever I could, but over here on the West Coast we don't have them. But yeah, no, I'm happy for you, Jason. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like a ton of fun, and please continue to send us in photos and videos, which we know you're going to do. And so,
yeah.
Let's talk to everybody about what we got going on with Jason is a sponsored rep.
Yes, he is.
And so how does that happen for somebody like Jason? Well, we mentioned it earlier. Mm-hmm. Jason earned it. It's not. We get quite a few people that come to us and say, "Do you sponsor us?" And yeah, we do. But how that happens for us is we kept getting people naming Jason as a referral source.
Yep.
At checkout, and so we said, you know what, let's talk to this guy. He's doing a lot for us, and we offered a sponsored rep position. So for those of you listening in on the podcast and listening live,
anybody has a chance to be a sponsored rep, and everybody could be. It's just but you do have to put in the work, and Jason has put in a lot of work.
Yes, he does.
And we can't thank you enough. So, just wanted to let you know.
I would like to say, I know I was listening to before I came on, and you talking about GlowPro lures. By the way, that's my favorite lure company out of the box, other than the small people, because I make my own lures. So I like seeing some of the baits from smaller companies.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
GlowPro, I have a whole box of GlowPro lures. It's probably one of my favorite lure companies out there right now. They just catch fish.
Oh yeah, they do work.
That's all there is to it. I mean, they just catch fish.
Yeah. And I thank you for that, because that's hearing it from somebody else. It's like those things work. They're
it's a great company, great lures.
Yeah, they have a great range of baits, and all of them work. I mean, there's not one there that I have ever not caught something on.
Yeah, and it's just cool to put a little glow stick in your bait.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fun.
Yeah, it's like a little disco ball.
You feel like a little, yeah.
There's a party in the lake and everyone's invited. Come and bite it.
That little bit of extra glow could be the difference between the fish noticing it or just swimming right past sometimes.
Exactly.
It really helps.
Exactly. I mean, and sometimes the water is murky, and it just that little something extra, has caught their attention. So that's awesome. I love it. Love their stuff.
Well, this is not the first or the last time, because he's a sponsored rep. We've had our sponsored reps on the show a couple of times now, so we're glad to have you. And please come back on the show anytime you have a fish story or just want to talk about your Facebook or YouTube. And so,
I mean, we're here to help support you as well as you support us. So. We're here for each other. That's the beauty of this, is we're just one big community. We help each other out.
I understand that you have a product line yourself, so I didn't know that about you, Jason. Tommy's does purchasing, and so let's maybe get some of his baits in the box if that's something that he wants to do.
We can help spread you out too, man. I mean, if you're interested in that, we can definitely help you out with that.
So we'll talk offline about that, but from all of us here at Outsider Tackle Box, fish more, tight lines. Let's keep in touch, and have a good Saturday, Jason. Thanks for coming on.
You guys too.
All right. Thank you for all you do, bud. Take care.
Take care.